Alright. Ladies and gentlemen. A second best of 5 today. We still have tomorrow as well with a... No, sorry, not tomorrow. Right afterwards. Right afterwards with another best of 5. I don't know why I went on about tomorrow. No, straight after this, we still have the other best of 5 as well. With, well, either Classic or Rogue going up against Björn. Should be pretty good. Should be pretty good. Talking about Classic and Rogue, here they are. Bottom right, there's Rogue. DPG Man. Dragon Phoenix Gamer and an Alpha Xer in the bottom left side. Yeah. Yeah. Gaming. Video games. La ZVP. La ZVPET. La ZV. No, I'm not quite sure. How do you weirdly pronounce the P? The perverser. There we go. Nothing strange happening so far in this perverser. Guess we're just gonna follow this probe around for a little bit longer. I don't think any of the Alpha X players really found a lot of success in the GSL recently, unfortunately. I say, not any success, but, you know, even being in the GSL is pretty darn good. Codes. But from there, let me take a look actually. Am I forgetting about someone? Ragnarok. Ragnarok. I was forgetting about Ragnarok. Of course, he had a wonderful time, didn't he? Oh my dear lord. Was it juicy to see him play that day? However juicy it was. What we got? Stargate for the Protoss. Zerg. Killing the inbuildable plates. What's he doing? He's mad. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Void Ray. Alright, alright. Still the choice of tech for the Protoss here in the earlier parts of the game. I feel like it's just more difficult to stay alive against like roach pushes and that type of stuff. The floods, which probably not too far outside of Rogue's vocabulary. Especially considering it to be an online match. Sometimes, you know, he does turn up the cheese to 11. Sometimes to his own detriment. But so far, pretty much on the drone train. Heavily trying to boost it up as much as possible here. Gotta be careful for the Twilight Council afterwards with the Forge. Very unfortunate Overlord there. Finding his demise through the use of a powerful laser beam. I mean, if you are going to go down with a bang, I always say. As the Void Ray agrees. The Void Ray definitely agreeing there. Getting a couple of drone kills with his pile, the Oracle, but the Oracle not as committed to the cause as the Void Ray was, clearly. Classic will have to have words with this Oracle. Seven drones in total, getting picked off, seemingly a pretty good amount. Then you look at the overall drone count still available and you realize, oh, I guess he never made Zerglings. Or much of anything else but drones. So yeah, he's still in a pretty good spot right now. Starting up the Roach Warren, the lair, as well as an Evo chamber. Status Trap doesn't really manage to get the most of things right now, but a fair bit of delayed mining. Oracle still alive, gets the heck out of there. And we have, well, some Zerglings scouring the, well, edges of the fog of war. Eight roaches are on the way. Is that going to be enough? If those queens get force fielded into an awkward position, that could be devastating for Rogue right now. Is pulling them backwards. Going to be available together with those roaches, so the absolute doom scenario not as likely right now. The fourth base does get cancelled though, so already Classic getting a little bit of value with his gateway army here. It's basically just Blink Stalkers with the +1, +2 on the way, a bunch of sentries here. I believe we've seen this being popularized by Trap. It's one of the very few things I know. Yo, what was that? Do you think there was an observer there? Yes, overseer, I'm not sure. Alright, maybe a mistake. Either way, regardless. Force field's not incredible. Trying to get a bit better value here. Being very careful with his force fields. Not to overuse them. He knows if he overuses them, the Ravager Biles will just drop down immediately, and he would have wasted all that time. Slowly but surely making certain that the concave that these Roaches and Ravagers could ever take is going to be absolutely terrible. Now jumping forwards after killing the fourth base. Stalkers, were they a bit too quick with the aggression? I don't think so. Still picking off more and more Zergs. They are getting a little bit lower on the HP bar right now. But with only Roaches in production, I think these Stalkers are going to do absolutely fantastic here. Dodging the Biles as well. Squiggly returning to the aggression. Starting to move forwards. Classic. Is he doing it? There we go. Another blink. Jumping right on top. A good dodge once again as a GG has to be called afterwards. Alright. Last game, maybe not the exact way everyone was anticipating things to go, but this man in particular getting caught off guard there a little bit. Not having the unit composition that he wanted, or perhaps not having enough of it. Perhaps those drone kills at the start did more damage than I initially thought they may have. Anyway, here he is again, the Red Zerg, fighting for Dragon Phoenix Gamers Rogue. His opponent getting the better end of him right there in the previous game. The blue Protoss from ITaX. Classic. Probe not scouting anything inconspicuous. Just looking for whatever he can. He still has that one drone following as well. It's a bit of delayed mining for Rogue, or at least as much as Classic is having for having that probe across the map in the first place. Looking for potential third bases already. Can't find any just quite yet. As the Adept heads out the gate, wants to take over the scouting duties there of the probe. Second Adept as well in production, as well as the Stargate. Looks like that will be the transition here. Kind of curious to see what Stargate units will be having as well. Already seen a lot of Phoenixes today from Nightmare. Quite sure if I would assign a Phoenix as a very classic unit to use though, but at least I personally haven't seen him play the Phoenix style that much. We'll have to see. Another gateway. An Oracle afterwards. Okay. So clear the scout and then come in with the harassment. Spore Crawler's already being created though for Rogue. Wants to try and minimize the damage this time around. Yeah, very similar builds as we saw the previous time around. In game number 1 here. Immediately with the Robo and the Twilight. Imagining another Blinkstalker aggression perhaps to be the follow-up here from Classic as Rogue. It's going to be the one having to make the adjustments. And, well, adjustments is his middle name. I call him Dragon Phoenix Gamer Adjustment Rogue. The Adjuster. That's a horrible nickname. The Adjuster. Justice has come for you through the Adjuster. Alright. Actually getting the charge upgrade here. This time around. Classic spicing things up in the Brodel's kitchen. War Prism, 5 gateways, 6 gateways in production. That's an ungodly amount of gateways. Are we gonna have like a Templar Archives with this as well, or like Charge Lord's Archon? Don't necessarily need the Archons. They're kind of nice to have, just in case there's, like, you know, a lot of Zerglings blocking away somewhere, or some Banelings rolling in. Gives you a bit of an easier time avoiding that Baneling damage. Now, we know, of course, there's no Baneling nest. It's just going to be Roaches. Archons do pretty good against Roaches as well, to be fair. Oracle. Yep. That's fine, that's fine. 3 of those drones that are mining gas getting locked up into status. And now, let's watch if this is enough Zealots. Has he done it? Can he break the one and only Rogue here with a big old wave of Zealots coming in at an unexpected time? It looks like he very well may. My dear goodness, this is not going to end well for Rogue, as 10 Roaches are in production. How many Zealots do we have right now? 23 out and about, having a grandiose time trying to, well, get the autograph of any Roach involved. Of course, the Roaches, so disgusted by this act, they have to projectile vomit their, their fan base. Oh dear lord, the bodyguard drones trying to keep them at bay as well, but that's not going to be enough here. As the Zealot Fangirl Armada runs in and we'll be able to claim victory today. That is 2 victories now for Classic over Rogue. Not an insane, crazy play overall from Classic either. It's, well, I guess those Zealots was quite committed, right? And then the gateway push with the sentries and the stalkers. That isn't all that committed, I guess, to be fair. I feel like if you get the cancellation or the forced cancellation on the 4th base, you're already in a good spot. You can try to keep pushing there, but I could be wrong. But to me, the situation on the ground then looks like it's playable for Protoss in the later part of the game as well, right? You should be able to try and get yourself into that extreme late game scenario. Alright, first signs of the game. Looks like things are gonna be pretty normal. Then again, I mean, who knows what is going on in Classic's mind right now? There we are, Stargate once more. I swear, if he has another strategy that opens up with Void Ray into Oracle and then just turns into something completely different from what we saw the previous 2 times, right? The either the Zealot attack or the Blink Stalker Sentry for the 4th base kill. And he manages to win it again. That would be pretty sick, wouldn't it? That would be pretty sick. Right. 3rd base for Rogue coming up. Setting up shop. Looking to gobble up some minerals. Blue crystal. What happened there? Guess I didn't have the adapt on my selection. There he goes. Shading in. Shading out. Third base for Classic. Shouldn't have too many difficulties here. Looks like Rogue more so preoccupied with trying to keep the skies clean around his own bases. Got himself 4 queens, 5th one in production. 2 spore crawlers here as well. The main base already connected up with a slight line of creep, allowing that queen to arrive in the main base. Not quite in time though to save the Overlord, but still getting there before any drones die. Talking about drones dying, of course, that Oracle has his main jam, his business. Getting 3 of them. Not as spectacular as in game number 1, but the Void Ray is still part of the land of the living. And Rogue deciding to double down on the scouting here. Has another Overlord presence on the other side of the map. I guess it was actually the first Overlord. He just hit it elsewhere. Does get the scout off right now. Seeing that it is going to be a secondary Stargate. Now, this is the first time where things are pretty clear to Rogue what is going to be hitting him. And is that going to be enough now for him to navigate his way into a safe space for either taking it into the late game or perhaps for him to find some sort of a kill switch he can turn on, right? with those roaches that he's producing. With the lair, perhaps a spire. Okay, so no night display. Thought that might come in here because we do still have quite a bit of queen production going on. We're already on 7 of them. No 4th base yet either, so... Could you do, like, a Corruptor or Mutalisk-assisted night display? Would that be worth it? Like, you just wait for the queens to gather up more energy. Ooh, that is a nice status trap. Not gonna allow that drone to get it. He's gonna have to reconsider where he puts down his 4th base. As we see over here. Quite a bit of a delay. Circlings on the other side, finding the probe, trying to make a 4th base on the other side. And gets a little bit of a delay there as well. Tit for tat between the two so far. Look at the count, staggeringly close. Circlings almost managing to get their hands on that little probe right there, but the Void Rays do make them reconsider. Now we have 7 Mutalisk. 7 Mutalisk being constructed. The queens are starting to move forwards here. There's a good deal of creep spread. Rogue definitely keeping the creep spread, or at least trying to keep that creep spread going at a maximum rate possible. Doing a good job with it. Look at this. Pretty much already 2 to 3 creep tombs far, if not more. All areas of the map, each direction. Which to me indicates that he's not planning to do a big push, but then again, with the queens moving around like this, maybe it's just this way to ensure safety, right, against the Void Race and such. Mutalisk finding a lot of probes. Finding a lot of probes, actually. That's 12 already, and not a single Mutalisk been shot at so far. Gonna fly over towards the main base. Void Race in hot pursuit. There's a couple of Starks being warped in, but Mutalisk should be able to simply move themselves away from that area. Cannons and shield batteries on the 4th base. No probes, though, to take advantage of. Finally, a couple of Mutalisk do take enough damage to go down. Perhaps there was only 1 Mutalisk. No, 2 Mutalisk in total. Still, though, the trade 2 Mutalisk for... how many probes was it? A good amount. A good, solid amount. Here's the Roaches and Queen attack now as well, though. So it is a little bit of a combination of the two. Yet we are missing the Niders. But apparently you don't need it. You can just creep your way all the way across the map here in a very... well, at least if your name is Rogue. Very efficient manner, while also going for the Mutalisk, also maintaining safety against the air Protoss. As well, Mutalisk finding them on top of the Disruptors right now. Are gonna clean them up. The Void Rays are still a scary threat here. The Queens are no longer gonna have the Transfuse ability, but does it matter? They're very slow off creep as well. Maybe the Void Rays are gonna be able to roundabout kick them, but I don't know. I think Classic may have his match this round. Won't be getting away with a clean victory here, most likely. It's going to require quite a bit of successful disruptor shots here to turn this game around, and I'm not quite certain if that's going to happen. Even that one, which was pretty solid, probably not big enough. And there it is. GG is called. Rogue takes game number 3. Doesn't go down without a good swing. Alright. Things not picking up speed too quickly here. Just the good old regular stuff. Little drone trying to be a nasty one. A little nasty bugger blocking an expansion. Doesn't quite happen, and now he's on the other side of the map. Goes for the gas steal instead. Does Classic require himself a second gas? We've seen he can do quite a lot with just a bunch of minerals. Now the question is, can he get himself in one of those positions once again? Stargate, alright. Same old, same old. So far. Already trying to optimize the mining here from that second gas. Hopefully his build order won't be disturbed by too much. And with an extractor here also, giving a little bit of scouting information. It's harder to get away with like a big influx of gateways all of a sudden, right? Without that getting spotted. So a zealot getting made to, well, kill off the extractor. I'm guessing Classic would really like to have that extractor as well at some point in the future. Or at least turn it into an assimilator. Little adept gets the scouting. What kind of scouting information is he getting, really? I mean, there's not much. There's not much to tell. I guess he got all the highlights of the Zerg side, so we'll have to come in later again. I guess he didn't get a good look at the drone numbers on the natural base. But he's seen the third base, right? So you can kind of infer from there. Alright, well, I suppose you're making drones. I suppose you're making drones. We can see that there is 18 Zerglings out and about on the map though. 4 of them here already, trying to lure that adept out of his spot of safety. Attacking the main gate might do something similar like that, to that effect. And now here are the rest of the Zerglings. Oh, a good surround on that. Adept actually didn't anticipate that to go that well. And yeah, now all of a sudden this is going to have to be cancelled. Forced cancel for the third base. Another Stargate once again being constructed here for Classic. This is a lot of trouble. This is a lot of trouble. Prepare to make it double. Double Stargate. No, wait. Yeah, that is rough. That is rough. That's not supposed to happen right there. You have to Oracle the Void Ray, the Adept, or at least you should do, before any Zergling threat can really do too much at your third base. Classic. Man. Ugh. What do you think is going through his mind right now, you know? That's kind of what I'm wondering, because you're up 2-0. It's just like, alright, we just got to play one more game well enough that we get that victory. Just one more game. 3 shots. Just did it 2 times in a row. Just one more. But I'm up against Rogue. I'm up against the Rogue. And he is doing all sorts of cruel things to me right now. You know that little voice in the back of your head that suddenly goes like, Am I going to lose this right now? 3 games in a row? Oh dear, oh dear. At least that would go through my mind. Anyway, is he going to get the banelings in time? Looks like the slow banelings not there the quickest. So, not getting too many probes, but he gets all the gateway forces. The Oracle has arrived back as well. Keeps most of those probes alive. 3 of them do go down, unfortunately. But, you know what? The Nexus is still here. Still mining. Still operational. Spire coming up. Rays zapping away. How did Classic take 2 maps from Rogue? Skytos? No sir. No sir. The exact opposite of Skytos, in fact. I think that's the way to perhaps do it for Protoss. You just, right? I mean, I'm clearly not the first guy to say this, but if you keep the Zerg in the dark enough about what you're doing, in those first moments of the game, that's just... my good golly. Such an efficient way to win the game, right? Just suddenly coming in with a massive amount of zealots. That rogue just doesn't know is coming. He's like, oh shoot, I gotta make roaches now, I guess. And it's too little too late. It's too little too late, rogue. Can't make it happen anymore. Zerglings finding a fourth. But with it, enough Void Race to scare even Kerrigan herself. There's 14 Mutalisks produced. Already producing carriers also. Will Classic get the heads up about the Mutalisk? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Wonderful play there from Rogue, actually moving the waypoint away as he realizes where that observer is. Still zoning that observer out of the area as well with the Queens and the Overseer. And now these Mutalisks are gonna arrive as an absolute stealth unit. And I'm not sure if Classic will have the means to survive such a brute force assault on his probe line. He's going to take a lot of damage right now. The main base, sincerely yours. Going for the shield battery first. A little bit of a... wasn't entirely anticipating that. Now going for somewhat of a pylon. Then going for the probes. And going for the cannon. Zerglings on the other side of the field. Fourth base in trouble too. Can't forget about this one now, can you? Classic, his army, very slow of course, except for those Void Rays. Void Rays not the greatest tool though against the Zerglings, more Mutalisk. You need those carriers there as well for the added in DPS. Now the Mutalisk actually on this side of the field quicker than the air force of the Protoss is. That is adding insult to injury. 18 probes. Man. That is rough. That is rough. More and more Mutalisk in that production tab. Perhaps one way that I can see Classic make a comeback happen if he gets a very efficient trade with a higher Phoenix numbers. Now, is he ever going to reach that high enough Phoenix number? That is a good question. So far, we have 7. There's 33 Mutalisk. Just, you know, that's only like 5 times as many. That's alright. That's alright. Micro! Unleash your inner micro god right now, Classic. Make it happen. You need to stay on top of those Mutalisks right now. They're just floating around happily ever after. Cancelling the range for the Phoenix there as well. Making it still a very difficult job to try and catch these Mutalisks right now. Trying to make the best of the situation, but I mean, just... sometimes I'm staring at that top side of the map here, on a little mini-map. All those happy little Zerg bases mining away. Not a fear in the world. 40 supply difference. This is rough. This is very, very rough. Mutalisk. Banelings. Ooh, banelings. Ooh, probes. Flee. I think he only now realized that he doesn't have baneling speed. As he made the banelings over here, sees them waddling, and he's like, oh, wait. This could be better. This could be better. Still 12 probes go down, though, so... that remark, I'm not sure if it could have gone better. If they had speed, who knows how much carnage they would have done though. Mutalisk still rampaging the land, still ever so much trouble for the Protoss. Nexus once again having to be cancelled. More and more bases for the Zerg. Should be getting taken. He's not even got drones mining on the gas here. It's a bit of a concern. Is this gonna work out for Rogue? Is it? Is it? I'm not sure if it is. That was... What? Rogue? Rogue? What was that? Hey. Huh. Doesn't have an enormous bank. Did he just throw this game? Is this the biggest throw I've seen in my entire career? No, he's still here. He's still kicking. The carriers are arriving though. How many carriers are we on? 3. I mean, okay. Classic. If he doesn't get a counterattack after killing the entirety of the air army and Rogue not having enough of a bank to actually remax quickly. Like, he's still on 150 himself. Still. He's struggling. He's still spending a lot of money on upgrading and, like, getting a higher tier attack, right? The Ultralisks and stuff like that. That's rough. That's rough. Circling counter-attack. Dealing some, well, cannon damage, I suppose. Die, you cannons. Die! That's right. Now it's the probe's turn. I mean, it still feels like an unwinnable position, right? Full classic. He's still on 3 base versus 7. Wait, no, 6. I thought this was a base for a moment. I'm sorry, it's just a big blob of overlords. Yeah. I feel the same way as Destined in the chat right now. It's just not much of an opportunity anymore to really make something happen here. This economy is just absolutely in the toilet. It's trying to, well, deal whatever damage he can, pick off drones wherever he can, and I mean, it's definitely delaying any type of secondary push from Rogue. Rogue, to be fair, if he makes another jump onto Void Rays, you know, with Prismatic Alignment activated, as he's going in with his Corruptors, then, maybe. Because the army supply of Classic here is still very strong, right? If Rogue makes another one of those judgment calls, and is like, you know what, I should just go for it. I've been saying that he's claiming all the entirety of the map, but in all honesty, he's kind of been... I don't want to say lazy, but it's been a long time since he's taken another base. It feels like he's in the mindset of, alright, I don't need to, right? It's already done. I've already won this. Maybe he just doesn't want to make an investment into a hatchery that's most likely going to get torn to shreds by Void Rays anyway. But this is such a good place to still try and get, right? You still want to have that massive bank, so once you do that big push like he tried to do initially, we saw a couple of minutes back, you actually can recreate your army instead of just sitting back at home trying to, you know, pray to the gods that the Protoss isn't going to attack full force somewhere. Once you figured out, like, oh, wait a moment. Oh, wait a moment. I probably shouldn't have thrown away that entire army. In there, done that. Banelings sitting up a couple of probes there. 11 of them do fall. Phoenix finding, well, some drones, but not as many, do they? Corruptors already hot on their tail as well. Wouldn't mind seeing Overlord picks here as well. Just, yeah, fly around, try to kill off as many Overlords as you can. Forget about those drones. Get the Overlords. Alright. Things still kicking. Classic. incredibly patient with his own expanding here. He knows he's pretty much got this one big punch that he can create right now. And if he doesn't land that punch, then he's out, right? There's one big army. If this big army doesn't punch through the face of Rogue, and then punch through another face of Rogue, right, then it won't matter. It won't matter. You can knock out Rogue once, but then he's gonna have to knock him out again in this one game here, because Rogue is actually gonna sit around a little bit longer now, wait for a bank to set up. He's got himself a much more technologically advanced Zerg army here, with the Ultralisk, the Brute Lords, the Vipers. That is a lot of it in... Well, actually, well, if he's gonna send in 6 Ultralisk here, those are some pricey units. Getting value. Right? This is pretty much the only mining base of Classic, actually. I forget about that. He doesn't have any probes. He doesn't have any other Nexuses. Really mining anyway. It's gonna have to long distance mine now. That is terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. Rogue still on more than enough bases. This is scary. Is Classic just trying to, you know, fatigue Rogue? To be fair, with the... we've talked about that one attack quite a bit now, but if Rogue does make another blunderish attempt like that, I mean, I would anticipate Classic to win. But how likely is it that Rogue tries another one of those attacks? I think he's learned his lesson, seeing how methodically he's playing right now. Getting all the Spore Crawlers, not taking the outside odds of potentially losing here. Just on a quick whim. Changelings being sent in, trying to keep their eyes peeled on the Protoss forces. Nice harpoons, getting 2 carriers with his Ball of Corruptus. Protoss starting to recall a single Archon and a Void Ray. Very minimalistic. Now there's no recall available in case that is necessary. There's still a lot of Brood Lords and Corruptors here. Let's see if they are going to be enough to force this Protoss army. No. No, he's going to let them move away here. Rotate back around. More harpooning. 1 carrier. More Ultralisk once again on the one mining base of Classic, and that's going to cause Classic to start returning back home, actually. He's going to have to be careful. A couple of I-Templar. Can't believe those I-Templars still live. But they do, so they're still kicking. Still some Storm available there. Feedback, very important overall to try and get those Vipers to keep their distance. But we're down to 15 workers now for Classic. That one punch remaining strategy is still the case. Even more so now than ever. He is a bit higher up in the supply, but he's going to have quite the combat here anyway. He's going to have to activate the Prismatic Alignment pretty soon. Losing a lot of Void Rays down the right flank. The Tempest and Carriers trying to burst their way through the Broodlords, but I don't think that's going to happen with those Queens underneath. GG is called. Rogue takes game number 4. Alright. One more time between the two. Is it gonna happen? Is he gonna do it? I thought he was gonna 3-0 for a moment just not too long ago, and now I feel like he is gonna 0-3. Straight afterwards, the Blue Protoss from Alpha X. Classic. Bottom right side, the man, the myth, the legends, the Adjusticator. It is Rogue from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. The Adjusticator, that's a better name, right? He adjusts like no one else. You gotta clock the toilet, don't worry. He will adjust his arm entirely into a plunger. Somehow, some way, the adjusticator will adjust. Lovely dens of the probe there. Rest of this looking pretty normal so far. What's Inu looking at? The same thing. It's always the question, right? Is there anything interesting to look at? Not really. It's the probe. That's where all the action is. Yeah, you see, hatcheries, just not really the same vibe. I'm just not feeling it, you know? Just not feeling it. Once again, the Stargate here for Classic. Trying to get constructed. Overlord did get spotted this time around. Might be able to get picked off. Even if Classic goes for the double Stargate again, which I really hope he doesn't, because it's been going awful for him so far. It might be better, because, you know, Rogue might not get the scout on it this time around. And as long as he doesn't take damage to his third base, who knows? It might go better overall. Is he going for the Oracle first now? Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Huh. Mixing it up there. I was not anticipating that. Once again, he has fooled me. Clever, clever. Is it clever? I'm not quite sure. I guess you don't expect the Oracle first as Rogue now, right? You've done the entire game Void Ray first, and now suddenly that Oracle is going to arrive quite a bit earlier. Zerglings have been constructed. Once again, those are going to get scouted by the Oracle. Also vice versa, of course. The Oracle getting scouted by the Zerglings. Knows its trajectory, knows where to place his queens. The Oracle trying to adjust, so he won't be coming in from the most anticipated angle. And realizes that he will not be able to do anything here. A sad day to be an Oracle for sure, but that's what it is. Alright, we are seeing a Twilight Council. This Void Ray not gonna get the scout on. So that's a big deal. Rogue now gonna have to rely on scouting through the eyes of the Zerglings. He has faced that mass of zealots already once. He's faced the Blink Stalkers already once. He's gonna have to really pay close attention to what it's gonna be here. And in his book, right, could still be the double Stargate as well. So, very difficult for him to tell now without an Overlord flying in. Is Adept the most important unit in this game right now, perhaps? There we are. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, boys. Alright, Roach Warren is being constructed as well by Rogue. I'm happy as long as we don't see a Baneling Nest. I think we got a shot at this for Classic. Rogue. Still kind of scary though. Doesn't let the Oracle do anything. Four gateways. Rogue still in the dark. I guess he never quite made the amount of Zerglings he did the previous game. Although he only made like 4 or 6, maybe more in total. Guess with the Oracle Scout combined, not really liking the aspects of, or the likelihood of killing the Nexus. Not forcing a cancel of the Nexus. Archon as well. Did that get scouted? Did that get scouted? Starting up the Roach production. This is a different build than we saw from the previous game. But the War Prism does manage to avoid being spotted so far. Still being able to avoid the eyesight of Rogue here. There it is. Okay, now full aggression. Cancelling the 4th base already. So, a slight victory there for Classic. As we get started in the big old push, the Zealots are getting on top of the Roaches and the Queens. Definitely not as an overwhelming force as we had previously. Trying to do his best with the War Prism Micro to keep everything alive for as long as possible. But this is definitely not going to be the overwhelming floodgate that we saw previously. Little status trap there in the main base does get a bit of value as well. As value definitely, well, being achieved, but to what extent? And is it going to be actual value that is going to be putting him in front of this game right now? I'm not entirely convinced. He's forced out a lot of roaches from Rogue. Not a status trap potential here. No, that Oracle is going to go down now. Not a bad sign for Classic. Overall worker count still pretty similar. As Rogue for the foreseeable future will be sticking to the Roach composition. May be something good for Classic here. As he is making the Disruptors first there right now. Making his very first Disruptor right here. Should be quite the tool against a most Roach army. As I'm saying that though, the Spire in construction as well as the Infestation Pit right here. So Rogue looking to get himself out of that army composition as quickly as possible. Classic. Applying more pressure, getting rid of a lot of creep tumors here. You know what, that is forcing 20 circlings out. At least that is the assumption I'm making. Perhaps he already wanted to have those circlings regardless of what the next step was. Still seeing some drones as well, so. Alright. Bailing speed has been researched quite quickly this time around as well. Observer on the right side. Does he get a glimpse of the Roach army moving across? I don't think he did, so it's going to be up to the Void Ray right here. It's going to get the first glimpse. Is it going to be too little too late now for this Nexus still to be saved? Rogue not committing to it. Circling's on the other side of the map. Finding a big old wall with Zealots and an Adept right there. Ready to fend them off. Actually, a Baneling bust would have been insane there against all those Zealots. That would have been pretty funny. Okay. Things are stabilizing. Quite a lot of Mutalisk on that production, of course, as, you know what, Classics is aware of it. Did get the eyes on that Spire, so he started up Phoenix production right now. Secondary Stargate on the way, as well as the Fleet Beacon. He's already got himself 4 Archons here as well. Might be able to spread them out a little bit and, well, at least secure 1 or 2 bases from the Mutalisk threat. Hopefully that's going to work out for him as we approach the moments where the first Mutalisk are arriving in the probe line. Disruptors not going to be the greatest tool against this. Still a menacing front, of course, to be sure. Doesn't want to lose them. Oh, getting targeted down. Is allowing the Phoenix to do more damage, though. Is this all a plan for him to kill the Mutalisk this way in trading 2 Disruptors? I'm not entirely convinced. But, you know what, he seemingly has enough Disruptors to still go around. And he rids the world of the Mutalisk. Corruptors, the next step for Rogue. The extra Stargates as well as the air weapons in production here. Gonna start up the carrier production. This late game ZVP seems inevitable at this point in time. A little bit of a poke here from Classic. May want to consider not poking in too quickly as the Protoss, as the Zerg now is still with a lot of supply on those Roaches. This attack right here could have a crucial impact, right? Could have a lot of momentum suddenly riding your way. Then again, seeing those Banelings momentum could go the other way quite quickly as well. Quite rapidly as well. I think a zealot warp in perhaps on this side. 9 drones going down. Not the worst thing for Rogue. Still has a solid economy here. We'll be able to replace those without too much of a hassle. 5th base for Classic. Alright. I mean, late game that we saw from Classic versus Rogue so far, definitely he was in a much worse position. With the 1 base mining for about 5 to 15 minutes, however long it was. Phoenix finding the funny interaction that is happening here, as there's no anti-air at all with the Zerg army for a little period of time there. Corruptors put a halt to that courageous display of Phoenix. Where are they going? Ah, they went the other way. He got juked. The adjusticator didn't adjust correctly. The drones are going to suffer a cruel fate because of this. 8 of them so far. Having to keep replenishing those drones is a bit draining for the mineral bank. Something at 1600 right now for Rogue, who has been bumping up pretty much against that 200 for a while now. Zealot warp in on the right side as well. Warp Prism doing its thing. Still in full vision though, but the Phoenix on the other side keeping the Corruptors preoccupied. So it looks like that Warp Prism will be there for a little bit longer. It's 24 drones in total with all of the harassment going around. Making a grand total of 34 drones having been slain this battle so far. Or this game so far. Yeah, that was just a matter of time, kind of, wasn't it? Warp Prism gets scouted and shot down there by the Corruptors. Storm starting up in the production tab as well. We wait to see where these players are going to be able to take this. How many disruptors? 7 disruptors underneath the carrier fleet. 7 carriers. 7 Archons and 7 ITaX. No, it's only 4 Archons. That's where the coincidence stops. Roaches no longer really necessary for the arsenal of Rogue to have. It's going to send them in on a suicide mission and run and gun for that Nexus. Does manage to shoot it down. Pretty solid stuff there for Rogue, as he now also manages to get his Corruptors on the backside of the carriers right there. Does manage to finish it off. Sometimes I wonder if it's actually good to, you know, in those situations, once you get a carrier to like 1 HP, do you want to kill it off? Or do you just want Classic to, you know, start stockpiling his supply on like 1 HP carriers? Right? Because that 1 carrier you just killed, that is still going to be replaced. That's not going to change the big battle that might decide the fate, right? But if there's a carrier with 1 HP that you manage to kill off a lot quicker than you would have otherwise. And again, I suppose he pretty much one-shots carriers right now, so it's might be a tough sell for me. Alright. Classic takes out another hatchery here. Rogue is going to have to start gathering up some troops. He's got an amazing Corruptor count, but that's pretty much where it ends. And those Corruptors not really free to engage this army with the 5 Archons underneath. To get it with a High Templar as well. Doesn't quite have Storm available, but it's still a threat. It's going to be coming in here. So for the Vipers, there we go. Another great engagement there for the Corruptors. Finding a lot of value against the carriers away from the Archons. Warp Prism shot down by the Spores. This hatchery right here may have eluded Classic for the time being. Doesn't quite know about them. Sees a drone moving that way now. Sees this drone moving that way now, but prioritizing this hatchery. May start thinking he's a little bit further ahead than he actually is if this does allow this base to operate for a longer period of time. this is not clean. Ooh, that's not clean at all. Disruptors way far forwards. Classic. Getting beaten by 3 spore crawlers there almost. Rough time. Now, with all these corruptors actually... Oh dear, oh dear. Classic, where is your army? A lot of it is in units around the map, I suppose. Zealots over there. Where's the rest? Where is the rest? Where are those 4 carriers? Are they still moving about? There's 3 of them. Oh no, there's 4 of them all here. Trying to stockpile. Classic. Not losing their bases just quite yet. Man, I'm sorry guys, I'm jumping back and forth a lot. I'm just trying to get a full grasp of everything that's happening here for myself as well. Zealots getting slain there. The counterattack does stop, but you know what? He did find this base, so that's no longer mining. Same though goes for Classic. Won't be mining on the bottom left side anytime soon. Top right side still going uncontested for either of them. There's a bit of creep there, so easier for Rogue to take at this moment in time. And he's also got himself the bottom left. So he's ahead of base. He is ahead of base. And he's been trading favorably overall as well, which is quite terrifying for Classic. But Classic does have a slightly better supply for a couple of seconds here. Is this now enough Archons to defend against the impeccable wave of Corruptors? There's 19 of them, 7 Broodlords in total there. Top right side, once again, getting Zealot arrest. Zealots poking away. The bottom left side now as well. Look at that, 2 bases perhaps. It's too few Zealots here, actually, to make anything happen. Ultralisk going for the 9 o'clock. 2 Void Rays there at the right place at the right time, but they may need some friends. They may need some help. Classic making use of this opportunity. The rest of his army starting to head forward. The Spore Crawlers trying to be assembled at a place of defensive capabilities. There are the Broodlords, but where are the Corruptors? Moving backwards is Classic right now. Doesn't want to quite take this engagement just quite yet. Has more Zealots coming in from the top. Again, that hatchery will fall. No cancel. Another 300 minerals gone down the toilet. Minerals Rogue desperately needs. Look at this. 35 workers on this half HP base. That is how desperate Rogue is for mining right now. As Classic takes out another base on the left side. A Corruptors trying to find something to barf from. It's kind of a problem. That is pretty much their one function in life right now. They don't have much else to do except for hunt down carriers, and the carriers well guarded by the High Templar, by the Archons. He's having a rough time of it. He is definitely having a rough time of it. Classic now suddenly in a pretty decent looking position. Let me actually compare the mining that is still happening. Classic has this and this. And I guess a bit of this. Rogue does long distance mining. He's got 3 mineral patches here and 4 mineral patches there. It's pretty scrappy for both of them. But the Classic just slightly ahead. Actually has more than double the amount of gas income. Minerals might be the more important factor at this point in time though. Immortal drop. Once again, trying to clear out this area. Might be able to. That immortal damage versus buildings pretty darn high. Broodlords. Rescue! Don't manage to rescue that. Another 300 minerals. Actually, 350. Don't forget about that drone that was used there. All going down, up in smoke once again. Brodos pushing into the bottom 6 o'clock. Sees that there's no base there. Pretty happy about that as he's already moving away. Looks like that is what he wanted to take down. And even, you know, if it's not even there, then you feel pretty darn solid about this whole thing. Classic. And Rogue. Rogue not going to be in a position where he will replenish this entire army. He's going to have this fight go pretty well. As we are waiting for this fight to commence, perhaps the Corruptors starting to yoink away. Is this going to be the initiator for Classic? No. Sees that another base is starting to be constructed here by Rogue. May want to consider using that as a push location. Or if he manages to crush that once again, Rogue in deep jockey doo-doo. Already struggling mining here. Alright, Classic once again approaching the creep side. Looking for the engagement. Archon's pretty well spread out. Holy Templar at the ready, at the helm with those storms. Disruptor shots managed to rid the world of Ultralisk. Archon's nowhere near the Corruptors though, as the storms land on the Corruptors. They're all so low. They just need a little bit of firepower there underneath them. The Archon's not helping out enough against those Corruptors. And look at how low they all are. That could have gone wonderfully well for Classic, perhaps. But Rogue manages to take the opportunity there and continues onwards the game. Classic now suddenly in a bit of a precarious situation. 64 army supplies. Gonna have to find a way to start combating these Brute Lords here in a quick manner, in a quick fashion. 5 Void Rays in production as we are waiting for things to continue onwards between the two. 10 drones in production here. We may just have this game go on for a little bit longer. By good golly, I really have to pee. But you know what? We are continuing on this match right now. Zerglings onto the Nexus. That's gonna have to be cancelled. Little uppity tick that for Rogue, I suppose. As they are looking for more and more stuff to happen here. Brute Lords on the top side. Zealots no longer gonna find that hatchery exposed as they did before. Bottom side Void Rays, perhaps find a bit of tech they can poke at, right? The Great Aspire right here, not bad, not bad. Slow down the Brood Lord production. Another Oracle on the top side as they are trying to find some things right there. Corruptors on the bottom side, finding those Void Rays though. A big catch right there. Those Void Rays very important, very crucial for Classic as the Archons try to find the escape path, but oh man, that was a big loss there for Classic for what he really gained. Just the Great Aspire really going down. Oh dear lord. Why does it have to be a long game? Why now? Heartbreaking if Rogue wins this. It really would be. It really would be. But then again, I mean, the writing's starting to get on the wall here a little bit. I feel like Rogue is starting to get it. But they just have to play this so slow and methodically now. It's just the way they have to. It's just the way they have to play this. He's going to scout here. No Nexus. I'm not sure if I can hold on for that long, guys. Oh, dear lord. I have a very particular bladder that does not like waiting around. Right, are we having the final fight here? Please tell me we're having the final fight here. Here we go, Brute Lords. Engage. No, no. The Zerglings there on the backside. It may happen. It may happen. Is Classic going to push in here? Please, please. Alright. Coming through, coming through. There is Corruptors on the bottom side trying to avoid High Templar and Archons of the Swords. Is this going to happen right here? Looking for the big old fight. Right, finding a couple of Spore Crawlers right there. Would be good. Harpoons not gonna land as well as they thought, as High Templars are there. Right, I'm bouncing around right now. 3 more Corruptors. Slow and steady is the pace of this game. Right, here we go. This could be it, guys. Coming in. Brute Lords, are they going to be sufficient? Corruptors coming in from the other side. Storm's pretty solid, but it looks like perhaps Rogue still has enough. Unfortunately, Classic not going to find his way to victory here. As most of the Zerg army is going to go... still be there. The Brute Lords. No GG, though, from Classic. No! Shoot! Alright, it continues. He's moving in. He's moving out. I feel like I know what's going to happen here. More Brood Lords cannot be produced, though, as those Corruptors low HP. Sitting there. Waiting. Come on now. Make it happen. Classic comes in again for another attempt, but I don't think it's going to work here. Is it? The Brood Lords. So much efficiency right there. Classic not going to find the opportunity there. 50 supply versus 160. The writing is on the wall. GG is called. I'll be right back, guys.